video is for the Swifties, but if you're not a Swiftie, keep watching because this video is also for the people who hate Ticketmaster. This video is also for the people who love capitalism. I have been a Taylor Swift fan since back in her debut era. Tim McGraw was the first Taylor Swift song I ever heard on country radio stations. One of our friends from church told us about Taylor Swift. She knew we loved country music. She knew we would love this new artist that was coming out. And she showed us this song called Tim McGraw. And I just remember like being in a hot car in Georgia, like my mom would run into the store and leave the windows down and we would just search the radio for Tim McGraw by Taylor Swift. Even then, she was such a hit that it would be pretty much guaranteed it would be on one of the country stations that we tried to search through. Like this is before iTunes and Spotify and all that. We had to search through country radio. Like this makes me sound so old. So I'm like laughing through the pain, laughing through the tears. But anyway, that was the first I ever heard of Taylor Swift. Of course, Tim McGraw captured my heart. Like it references Georgia. I'm gonna fucking cry. It references Georgia in the song and I was a little country Georgia girl at the time and a hopeless romantic just dying to get out of my small town. And Taylor Swift was kind of like emblematic of my childhood and teenage years. It was the first album I ever bought, the first CD, like remember CDs back in the day? The first album I ever purchased for myself, played it on repeat in a CD player in my room. I read through the little album book that used to come with the CDs and found those hidden messages. This is back before all her crazy fucking Easter eggs in her music videos and stuff like that. She left us little messages in her album. Me and my sisters decoded that and I memorized the fucking lyrics. I remember on a road trip, we were going down to the beach to Florida for a vacation. My mom does not really listen to radio like that. Like she's a Christian music girl all the way, or she'll just listen to an audiobook. So my mom was doing that and I was just in the back seat. I remember like head out the window, daydreaming, main character energy in my head, just reciting the full Taylor Swift debut album from memory in my head to get me through that road trip. I just say all that to say I've been here a long time, literally from her debut album, and I've loved her from the very beginning. And this week has literally broken me. I've been through fan shit before. I'm a directioner. I was there when Zayn left. Like I lived through that. But this past week has been such a shit show as a fan. Like I'm literally in tears right now. I'm a grown fucking woman in tears just because it's been so stressful and so defeating. Anyways, like I was saying, my mom is not really a country music or a pop music person. She's very religious and we didn't really listen to pop music in my house. She was very strict as well, so we didn't go to concerts either. I would have literally sold my soul to the devil to go to her Speak Now tour. I remember seeing pictures and videos from the concerts and seeing like ballerinas on stage on a fucking arena tour with the biggest artists in the world and being so sad that I couldn't be there, being so upset that I was in my small town that I was dying to get out of. I was a dancer, so seeing those ballerinas on the biggest stage in the world was like a form of escapism to me, I think, like looking back now. So one of my biggest regrets in life is not being able to go to the Speak Now tour. But anyways, fast forward to 1989, I'm in college. I finally get to go to a tour. I don't even want to say their fucking name, but it was obviously on Ticketmaster. Thankfully, I think I was like in between classes or like right before class or something. Getting on Ticketmaster, I was the one in charge of my group of like getting the tickets. Somehow got tickets. And at this point, I'm fairly new to concerts, so I didn't really care about getting like good seats or whatever. I'm in college, you know, working part-time. I'm a student. I don't have that much money. Neither do my sisters. So we just get like whatever tickets we can get, the cheapest ones that are there, up in the 300s, the nosebleed sections. You know, of course, on 1989, she has the Wonderland song. So we dressed up as Alice in Wonderland and it was amazing. And then, you know, of course, she took a big break before Reputation came out. And so when Reputation came out, finally I'm in the Apple Music era. I downloaded the album, listened to it on the train on the way to work. I'm living in New York now, okay? I'm living in New York, I'm living in New York just like my fucking idol. I made it out of my small ass town. I'm living in the big city. Taylor Swift releases a new album and I get to listen to it on the way to work. Everyone knows about the Reputation era. Obviously, Taylor Swift was in her badass era. The lead singles were super harsh, attacking her enemies, attacking the media industry who had put her down for so many years. And to be honest, the lead singles weren't really catching me like her previous albums had. So I was kind of like so going into the album. And then I listened to the album and I remember like visibly crying on the subway to work because I got to like songs like Dress or Call It What You Want and King of My Heart, and I listened to those songs and I was like, she saved those songs for us. She saved those songs for her real fans, for the Swifties who have stuck with her through everything, who didn't believe all the fucking media lies about her. She didn't use those tender, sweet songs as her lead singles, even though she's been known to be this person who writes about love. She didn't use those most tender and intimate songs about her love as her lead singles because she was protecting herself and she trusted us, the people who would listen to the full album, to appreciate and take care of that tenderness. And that's when I really became a Reputation fan, because she was so tender with us, her fans, while still being protective of her outside persona. I don't know how I'm gonna make it through this video. Me and my sisters are all working real big girl jobs at this point. We can afford, you know, a little bit better seats when concert time comes around. In the Reputation tour, we got floor seats in the first row of the side stage, and getting tickets during the Reputation era was actually really so easy. We had the slow ticketing method, right, on Ticketmaster, where if you bought the album, you got a little boost. If you were like a verified fan, you got a boost. If, you know, whatever. I was definitely a verified fan, like I registered and all that. And I think maybe like between my sisters and I, we bought 3 or 4 albums total. But the ticketing process was so easy for the Reputation tour because it was timed. Remember, like we had a specific time. And so yeah, I definitely had to like make no plans. I had to be locked in my room on my laptop or whatever. But like I had my specific time that they let me in. So that was a really great ticketing process. And I remember like telling everyone like, oh, the verified fan thing was super stressful. The timed release of the tickets was like super worrying, but it ended up being really great, a really smooth process. I loved it. 10 out of 10, 100% recommend. Like I remember that being my feeling. I remember being super calm during the ticketing process and everything worked out. And it was the best fucking experience of our lives. Like literally one of the best days of my life. And like that sounds so pathetic, but like anyone who's a fan or even someone who's been to a concert and you just like live music, like the energy at concerts is different. And being able to be on the floor surrounded by people who love the same artists that I do, who are so happy and so friendly to be there. And then seeing your idol like literally a few feet in front of you, like, one of the best experiences of my life. Singing along with her to songs that have marked every important moment in my life. It was so special. So Reputation was really great. Then we go to Lover, right? Lover album comes out. Totally different playing field than Reputation. I really love Lover, and I just remember listening to the Lover album on the train on my way to go cat sit one day. And I walked out of the subway, you know, like the iconic green lamp and staircase railing of the New York subway. I walked out and it was right around sunset and the sky was a perfect pink and blue and purple. And I was just like, this is Lover. Like, this is what Lover feels like. The sky is the same color as the music that I'm hearing in my ears. And it was just a magical moment. But that exact same day or that same week when I was going to the same cat sitting client, that I had, I literally had like a breakdown in their house. Like I was, on the floor playing with this cat that I'm cat sitting, and just like started sobbing uncontrollably. And I honestly don't remember like what triggered that. I think maybe I was lonely or homesick. I don't know. But that's what I mean when I say there's a Taylor Swift song for every important moment in my life. Like that's a real turning point in my mental health and me like noticing something's wrong. Lover Fest comes around, and obviously everyone is really shocked that it's only a few dates on the East and West Coast in the United States. But I was lucky enough to be one of the lucky few who got Lover Fest tickets. And then COVID. And then came Taylor Swift fully canceling the Lover Fest tour and refunding our money, which obviously I totally understand that decision. I'm actually glad that she was one of the artists who did fully refund at that time, because it was just so uncertain. Like some artists kept pushing back because so many people were hurting for money at that time. So I really respect that decision to do that. But obviously it was really sad. All these live shows that I had planned were getting canceled. Everything was shutting down. People were dying. All that to say, when the Eras tour was announced, everyone lost their fucking minds, myself included. We had the Lover album that never got to be toured. We had Folklore and Evermore that never got to be toured. We had the Fearless and Red re-recordings that we wanted to hear these old favorites that maybe we didn't get to see the first time around. And then of course we had this brand new album, Midnight's, her return to pop. We have literally 6 albums that old and new fans are super excited to hear for the first time ever for a lot of people. Everyone saw Taylor Swift break those records, right? It's not just in my head. Like the most streams of an album in the first 24 hours, the most album sales in a day, or whatever the fuck all the records she broke. Taylor Swift is not new to this game. She has been breaking records all throughout her career, okay? She has a huge fandom of Swifties that she actively invests in, that she actively engages with through Taylor Nation, through her secret session listening parties, through meet and greets on Tumblr in the past and TikTok now. Like, she is an artist that's actively engaged with her fans, of which there are many, clearly, which the Billboard charts indicate after Midnight's was released. Like, she has millions upon billions of fans around the world, okay? Like, the crying part is over. I'm getting fucking pissed now. Everything this woman does is unprecedented. Remember in her Reputation era when the whole world hated her and people thought her tour was gonna be a flop, playing to empty stadiums, and she fucking sold out every single stadium on that tour, the most profitable tour of all time? Everything has been overwhelming and unprecedented. So here comes the Midnight's tour announcement. Super excited, also a little stressed. Like, I know there's some new fans. I know she hasn't toured in 4 or 5 years. I know that this tour is not just a Midnight's tour, it's an Eras tour, all right? So she's gonna be playing her classic hit songs that everyone through the Eras loves, even if they're not a fan maybe of Midnight's or a fan of her pandemic albums. All her fans are gonna wanna go to this tour, all right? So I'm a little stressed. I'm like, okay, we're not gonna get the Reputation floor seats again. Like, that was a once in a lifetime opportunity. Talking with my sisters, we're strategizing, we're like, just like get our mindsets right. We're not gonna get those perfect floor seats again. Nobody expect that. Like, setting our expectations low. Me and my sisters all sign up for verified fan presale. Of course we do. We've done it before. So I also make plans for the Capital One presale. I have a Capital One card, has a pretty low limit, okay, let's be honest. But a Capital One card is a Capital One card. We'll take what we can get. I talk to my coworker at work. I say, I have a personal appointment at this time. You'll need to cover for me while I'm taking this call. My coworker agrees, he can handle it. I've done everything I can conceivably do to make sure I get at least one nosebleed ticket to the Taylor Swift Eras tour. I don't think I really need to go into what happened next. You lived it, I lived it, Twitter lived it, there's a million articles about it. Everyone I know is in a 2,000 plus queue. Then we wait like 7 fucking hours. Like we're 5 hours in. Ticketmaster finally gives us an update. Oh, there are intermittent issues. Ugh! I battled through the fucking Great War. Once I got into the room and I saw how scarce the tickets were, after a couple tries of saying another fan beat you to it, I was like, okay, I'm gonna blow the budget. I'm gonna go over the $500 limit my sisters and I set for ourselves. We're very privileged that was the budget that we could set for ourselves. But I said, fuck it, I'm maxing out my credit card and going whatever ticket is available, no matter how much it costs, no matter what VIP package it is. If there's 3 tickets, I'm buying them together. Long story short, I didn't get tickets the first day, the verified fan presale day. I did get a verified fan presale code. Neither of my sisters did. I didn't end up with any tickets. Really fucking sucked. Blew my Tuesday. Like, literally depressed. Like, I will have to say, I'm very privileged. I'm very lucky to have a job where I sit at a desk where I could keep an eye on the queue while, like, you know, sending my emails and bullshit, whatever. But I know I like saw people on Twitter who were like changing shifts or like using their paid time off to go on this pre-sale. And it really fucking sucks that they didn't end up with tickets either. The verified fan pre-sale day is the same day as my Thanksgiving potluck at work. And I'm so stressed and in this fucking 7-hour long queue that I can't even enjoy myself. Like, we were playing charade, or my coworkers were playing charades and singing karaoke and just like having a good time. And I'm just like trying to madly click tickets at my desk. So I'm really fucking pissed that I missed that. But anyways, one of my coworkers was planning on doing Capital One that day and he wasn't even aware. Like, he's not on Twitter. He's like a dad. He was buying it for his 2 daughters. He wasn't on Twitter. He didn't see that the Capital One presale was moved to the next day. I had to tell him what the hell was going on. Like, he was really grateful, but like Ticketmaster doesn't even take into account like people who are not chronically online. Like, not everyone's on Twitter 24/7. So day 1 is over. We don't have tickets at this point. Everything is gone. And like, it's just, please adjust your search. Please adjust your search. Please adjust your search. So we get home, we have a strategy session. It's determined that since I have the most flexible work schedule, a fucking shit show of a day 1, we expect the queue to be the same. So they're just gonna join the queue with my credit card info and hope for the best, but I'll be the one in charge of like, you know, actively hoping, you know, for the best. Now I have no one else to blame for this next part, but then I try to find my Capital One card to give the numbers to my sisters, and it's nowhere to be found. I'm panicking, trying to put off telling my sisters for as long as possible because I already let them down on day 1. I can't fucking let them down on day 2. I tell my sisters I can't find the fucking card. And of course they're sad and upset. They're trying not to blame me because obviously, I mean, this part is my fault, but day 1 was not my fault. It's way past my bedtime. The card is nowhere to be found. I go to sleep. I wake up the next morning really dejected. I text something unrelated to my sister's group chat. They ask in response, of course, did you find the credit card? I have to say, no, I didn't. I'm a failure. I'm a disappointment. All this shit is running through my head. Like, I'm trying to block it out because I'm trying to have a productive day at work before the pre-sale happens again. Because of course, once the pre-sale happens, nothing gets done at work. Like, I hope my boss doesn't watch this. If I get fired, I'm suing Ticketmaster. And I look in my bag and what's on the fucking top? My Capital One credit card. My mind is blown. I swear to you, the night before, I looked through that bag like 3 times. I have no idea where that credit card came from. Like, fairies had stolen it and then put it back in my bag while I was sleeping. Like, I have no idea what happened to that credit card. But when I got to work, suddenly my credit card was there. For some reason, we're super hopeful and like ready to attack the day for the second time. We're like, they had 24 hours to figure this shit out. Their coders are on top of it. We're gonna get tickets this time. We're gonna get nosebleeds, but it's okay. It's okay, we're gonna get them. We were so naive. Day 2. Same shit, different day. Capital One presale opens at 2 p.m. We join a 2,000 plus queue. Whatever, we expected that. I'm the first one to get out of the queue. I go into the room to select my seats. Same thing as yesterday, clicking everything, an error or another fan. Then we start seeing, just like day 1, we start seeing please adjust your search, please adjust your search, please adjust your search. You know, that means the tickets are gone. We're in denial, we're still refreshing. Occasionally a ticket or two will pop up, but you know, please adjust your search. Then we start seeing on Twitter the little pop-up message from Ticketmaster that says, all the inventory is gone. There is no more pre-sale from Verified Fan or Capital One. Essentially, don't waste your time, you fucking loser. They kicked me out, booted me to the back of the line. I guess they thought I was a bot. At that point, that's when I see for myself the little pop-up message. Another shit day. We go home, me and my sisters, you know, we regroup. We're like, there's still general pre-sale on Friday. We can still do it on Friday. It's gonna be another shit show, but we can still do it. We're so naive. Obviously, on Thursday, Ticketmaster tweeted the general on sale was canceled and a third fucking day ruined. There goes my fucking week. I had to watch an interview of the Live Nation CEO blaming Taylor Swift for their incompetence. I had to read the fucking Ticketmaster blog of their incompetence. I'm mad, I'm sad, I'm defeated, I'm over it, I'm tired. I want Taylor Swift, I want Taylor Nation to say something. And I mean, before anyone in the comments is like, that's a first world problem, like there's bigger things happening in the world. Like, I fucking know. I'm fucking aware that there are bigger things happening in the world, okay? And that's why I turn to artists and live shows and live music to have some sort of peace and relief from the fucking shit show of a world that we have built for ourselves. It's defeating to have one of the biggest comforts and loves in your life to be just snatched away from you by an incompetent company that doesn't have any competition. Ticketmaster and Live Nation merged in 2010 with the approval of the Department of Justice to form this huge monopoly conglomerate, and they own over 70% of the marketplace in live event ticketing. Like, how is that capitalistic to own over 70%? It's not. It's a monopoly, and there should be competitors that are viable enough to compete with a huge corporation. Clearly, this has been my opinion as a Swiftie and my experience during the Eras Tour debacle, but this applies to other fandoms. There are other artists who have fought Ticketmaster in the past. BTS, I know in 2021 faced the same things of the general pre-sale being canceled. But even if you're not like a fandom person at all, even if you like are not like a stan, you like don't go hard for one person or one group, one company should not be able to dominate over 70% of the marketplace. Like, there should be options for artists to choose who handles their ticketing. Taylor Swift is one of the biggest, if not the biggest artist in the world, and she pretty much has no choice but to go to Ticketmaster to sell her tour. There should be other competitors who can keep Ticketmaster on their fucking toes so that they have better code when they get hit with an overwhelming demand or when they get hit with an unprecedented amount of people and bots. Like, clearly Ticketmaster is not using their exorbitant junk fees to build the best user experience. If Ticketmaster and Live Nation had any competition in the live event ticketing marketplace, they would have the incentive to be better and do better for fans. And artists who aren't happy with the way Ticketmaster treats their fans would have other options to sell their tours through. In our capitalist economy, it just makes sense to break up Ticketmaster. I'm done. Like, I can't keep talking about this. I'm Belle from Joss and Belle. Sorry for the rant this week. I hope you come back next week. We usually post fun videos about movies or music or TV shows and like not just like being super angry and sad. Subscribe.